Welcome back to our science. This is Norris Teaches Science with me, Mr. Norris, and we're covering more meteorology video information in this video. I've made some previous videos about this, so if you haven't watched some of those videos, make sure you go watch those. But if this is the first time at the video, welcome. Today, I'm going to talk about severe weather, and the video goal today is I can explain types of severe weather events in the atmosphere. So, severe weather, there's a lot of different severe weathers out there. You could talk about thunderstorms, which we're going to talk about in this video. You can talk about tornadoes, which we're going to talk about in this video. Hurricanes, which we're going to spend a whole different video on. Windstorms, blizzards, ice storms, nor'easters. We're not really going to discuss these in this video, but they are types of severe weather. You guys can probably get from the name what they are. And if not, go look it up on Google. In the state I live in, we experience thunderstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, and we get nor'easters. We get snow, but we don't get blizzards very often. I think the last recorded big blizzard was, I don't know, the one I remember was 1993. That's showing my age a little bit. Ice storms, they happen every once in a while. Most times we just get ice in North Carolina, where I'm from. All right, so what is a thunderstorm? These are storms that generate lightning and thunder. All right, lightning and thunder. And I have to mention this. I'm physical science trained and earth science trained. And when I was going through college, you see lightning before you hear thunder because light travels faster than sound. I just need to appropriate that. But there is a wise tale where you see the lightning, you count a certain time, and you can then hear thunder, and you can determine how far away the lightning strike was. Those storms produce gusty winds, heavy rain. Sometimes they can produce hail, and they're usually associated with cumulonimbus clouds. Remember the clouds that can go through all three layers. If you don't remember that, I have a whole video that talks about clouds. What is lightning? Lightning is the buildup of discharge of electrical energy. And there's usually a connection between the positive, which comes from the ground, and the negative that comes from the cloud charges. It connects them, and that creates the lightning. Now, when someone tells you lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, that's a lie. Because in one lightning strike, they could strike that same place 400 times. And the Empire State Building has been struck by lightning so many times, I don't even know the exact number anymore. But lightning is dangerous. And thunder is the sound of rapidly expanding air. And it's usually associated with lightning because lightning heats up the air so really fast. So that's what you're getting from that. But you remember, you can have thunder without actually seeing lightning. And again, like I mentioned, you see lightning before hearing thunder. Now, occurrence of thunderstorms, there's an estimated about 200 thunderstorms at any given point on Earth, any given time. Most of the thunderstorms you're going to see are in the tropics because there's a lot of evaporation happening in the tropics, so they can condense more and can make more thunderstorms. And there's more unstable air masses in the tropics, but you can see thunderstorms almost everywhere. Now, the development of a thunderstorm is pretty simple. It forms when warm, humid air rises into an unstable environment. And so there's about three stages. You get your cumulus stage, which is your build up. You build up. And then you have your mature phase, which that's where you're going to get your heavy rainfall. And it's rotating water in and out, rainfall's coming out. And then you get your dissipating part of the thunderstorm when it's kind of raining itself out. There's light rain, it's calming down. So that's about thunderstorms. Now, what thunderstorms sometimes can produce is something called tornadoes. And these are violent, low pressure windstorms. Low pressure. Remember, air flows from high to low pressure. And so if it's a violent low pressure windstorm, that means the pressure is really low. And it forms this rotating column. You can see that's on the tornado here, the rotating column called a vortex. They usually come from cumulonimbus clouds. They can produce heavy, during tornadoes, you can have heavy rain. They can cause hail, and they do move in a counterclockwise motion. Now, the occurrence of tornadoes is about 770 tornadoes that occur in the United States per year. That's about an average. And the tornado season in the United States, where we see most of our tornadoes, is between April and June, but they can happen almost any time. Most tornadoes are seen in section of the United States called Tornado Alley. It involves Texas and the states above it. They see them. That's just the storms just get really violent. They're flatlands, and most of the tornadoes in the United States form there. But any state can see a tornado. All 50 states of the United States have seen a tornado. Florida is another place that sees a lot of tornadoes, but Florida sees a lot of its tornadoes because of hurricanes. And I'll talk about that in the hurricane video. And there's different names for tornadoes. We call a tornado on land a tornado, but if it's forming over water, we call it a water spout, because once it reaches on land, it just loses all of its energy. So the intensity of tornadoes are measured on the Fujita scale. And the wind speeds are an estimate when we come with tornadoes. We cannot actually measure the exact wind speed looking at radar. There are people out there that storm chase. That's something I would have loved to do, but it never happened. That will go and try to use instruments to get the actual wind speed. But most tornadoes are given their scale based off the damage that's done to them. And so it's figured out afterwards. But usually you can look, very wide tornadoes are going to be in the 3, 4, 5 scale. But let's see, last September, I'm making this in May 2020. In September 2019, where I'm from, we got a nice little tropical system come through, and a fellow teacher of mine had a tornado come near their house, and a branch went straight through his brand new truck to the floor. Now, when you have a tornado, you have severe weather. Sometimes you get tornado watches and tornado warnings. A tornado watch means that the conditions are there for development. It could possibly develop. It means be cautious, be on alert, but it's not like it's going to happen right then. Tornado warnings either means that it was indicated by the radar that there's rotation and that a tornado could be forming, or that someone has seen the tornado on the ground. If a tornado warning is for your area, seek cover. If you're in your house, get into the most central location away from windows. If you're in your car, pull your car over, get in a ditch. Those highway overpasses, don't get in one of those. Those can just become a wind tunnel and suck you out. You want to get in the most low-lying of areas when you're in a tornado. In the Midwest and West, they have storm shelters that they go into. Where I live on the East Coast, we do not have those. So we find, a bathtub most times. All right, and this is a little bit about severe weather, especially on thunderstorms and tornadoes. I'm going to talk a little bit more about hurricanes in another video, but I hope you learned something today. And this is Mr. Norris, and I am signing out for this video.